to be able to cover what we are now losing. As teachers' representatives, we will not support this. And this is just one among the many leaders that have really castigated the demonstrations that are calling for talks and dialogue. And also, Raila is not throwing back. He's daring the IG to arrest him. Constitution gives Kenyans right to hold peaceful demonstrations. That is the law. And as a tough-talking Inspector General of Police yesterday warned that his officers will not spare anyone who participates in today's protest, as Azimio leader Raila Odinga dared the police to arrest him. Meanwhile, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has announced the government will push a new law to restrict demonstration. So we're expecting a new law. The hardening of positions only hurts Kenyans more. And this story continues on page 4 and 5 of Daily Nation. We just want to hear what the IG had to say yesterday, and also the response from Raila Odinga as well. Up next.
Azimio protests expected to enter the second week with the planned Monday and Thursday protests. Inspector General of Police Japheth Koome has outlawed the anti-government protest organized by Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga.
Mimi kama Inspector Generali hakuna maandamano nimeruhusu. Mambo ya usalama hakuna kusungumuza. Ayo hatutakubali masungumuzo. Sitakubali masungumuzo.
Koome has reiterated that the planned Azimio demonstrations are illegal and urged Kenyans to go to work on Monday, saying it will be business as usual as police will be deployed to ensure law and order is maintained.
Tumesikia wengine wanasema sijui hata kesho wataleta vurugu jiji la Nairobi. Hakuna jambo kama hilo litafanyika. Tuko tayari kama kikosi cha polisi kuhakikisha kuna utulivu.
In a briefing to journalists on police preparedness on Sunday morning, Koome warned that anyone found breaching the law will face consequences regardless of his society status, insisting that the police will deal with anyone found with weapons to cause chaos. He said political issues should be handled through the appropriate political channels.
Hilo nataka kukuambia saa huu, yeyote ako na huo mpango kesho kuleta vurugu kwa nchi yetu utakipata, whichever level you are in the society, whichever status. Kesho siweki mtu kwa parado, yote nita arrest whoever you are. Ni kurusha we quarantine, kurusha nyuma, uende jela, ufungwe milele.
A number of Azimio la Umoja hotspots such as Kisumu have been warned that lawlessness will not be tolerated.
These politicians crossed the line in Kisumu wakati walivamia a function ambayo ilikuwa ya CAK kuharibu mali. That is where they crossed the line. Tukasema we have been restraining ourselves. We cannot do that anymore.
Raila Odinga led the first mass action against the high cost of living last week, where a Maseno University student was killed and more than 200 people arrested in nationwide protests.
I'm ready. I'm the commander of the National Police Service. The buck stops with me. Don't start intimidating my junior officers.
At the same time, Azimio la Umoja Protest Planning Committee has insisted that the protests will continue as planned.
Hatujapigwa na tear gas miaka 10. Na sasa tunapigwa na tear gas ni kama ndio pakiti ya unga.
Lakini Uhuru alileta subsidy, ndio bei ya unga ikaenda chini. Ruto alipoingia akatoa hii subsidy. How can you allow this?
Even though Nairobi City and other places across the country have witnessed peace since the last Monday protest, it seems that now Azimio la Umoja politicians are still insisting that on Monday they will continue with their planned protest.
Did you see our supermarket raided? Somebody lost 20 million kwa sababu ya maandamano ya kutafuta server ilikuwa kwa supermarket.
At the same time, Interior CS Kithure Kindiki has announced government's 10 proposals to amend Public Order Act following Azimio's planned mass action. Kindiki warning that the government will not tolerate chaotic and economically disruptive protests, even though he observed that protesters have a right to peaceful demonstrations. KTN News, Nairobi.
Good hilarious questions there from the IG. Server ilikuwa kwa supermarket. Then our legislators will tell us if the server is in the supermarket. But let's just get a rejoinder there from Raila Odinga, and who is insisting he's not rolling back, he's going full steam ahead with the demonstrations today.
Azimio la Umoja leaders told off Police Inspector General Japhet Koome over his decree that the planned protests by the Azimio la Umoja are illegal, daring him to arrest them.
Koome, wewe koma. Usilete fujo. Usilete vurugu. Unasema ati utaweza kushika kila mtu. Mimi niko tayari. Nitakuwa kwenye mstari wa mbele. Bwana Koome, hapana tuma askari, njoo wewe mwenyewe tuonane na wewe.
Kesho umesema unaweza kutuweka pingu sisi viongozi. Njoo uniweke pingu.
The leaders who were speaking after a church service at the Jesus Teaching Ministry in Nairobi, led by Azimio boss Raila Odinga, questioned the independence of the police, arguing that they have complied with the law, including their previous demands of notifying the police of the demonstrations on time.
Mara hii tumetoa notice a week in advance. We gave the notice for tomorrow's actions more than a week in advance. What other reason do they have to pronounce, to proclaim tomorrow's actions as illegal?
Tulienda makao makuu ya polisi hapa Nairobi kwa Bwana Bungei, tukampa notice ya over 5 days ya kwamba siku ya kesho tutakuwa na maandamano ya amani hapa Nairobi na miji mingine ya Kenya.
Katiba ya Kenya ni ile tulipitisha 2010. Hata kama ulipinga, huna katiba yako, mumeandika na chama yako ya UDA. Mtafuata katiba ya Kenya kama Wakenya wote, kama sisi.
Last Monday, the police barred the coalition from participating in the demonstrations, with Nairobi Police Commander Adamson Bungei saying they had not met the requirements of the Public Order Act, which required that a person planning to picket inform the police at least 3 days prior. The leaders also dismissed sentiments by President William Ruto that his support for Raila landed him at The Hague.
Mimi nataka kukuambia wewe Ruto, ni wengi walimpigania kinara wetu na hawakupelekwa ICC. Wewe ulipelekwa kwa sababu ya vitendo yako wewe. Wacha kutaja baba. Wewe fikiria tena. Ufikirie na si wewe peke yako ulikuwa kwa ODM, mbona ukapelekwa peke yako? Wewe watu wanakujua wewe na unajijua wewe. Hata mimi siku hizo nilipigania Kibaki na sikupelekwa.
The president, while in Igori, said he faced dire consequences for his unwavering support of Odinga, arguing that he should be the one person that supports him instead of fighting his regime.
Wakati mambo iliharibika na Agwambo akawa prime minister, si mimi ndio nilipelekwa Hague.
Grace Nganga, KTN News, Nairobi.
And that's where we are now. Never no nusu mkate, as you can see there by the editor cartoonist Victor in the Star. Raila is still tooting his horn of the demonstrations and of course not drawing back, but never no nusu mkate. Quite telling. We took a short break and of course we were to hear from Wilson Sossion.
Yes.
Maybe you want to change your mind now that you've had all this.
So all these objectives of the demonstration of the server, the IBC and the cost of living are mere scapegoats and excuses. They are other agenda. Because up to now, the promise of delivering a memorandum has not been done. Now, when you talk of the whistleblower, now you are relying on the whistleblower. Where are you putting your agents at the polling station? Where are you putting your agents at the constituency tallying center? Where are you putting your agents at the National Tallying Center? And the findings of the Supreme Court. So I don't think all this is very genuine. And the truth of the matter, Dibal, let us not hype the Article 37 with the exclusion of other provisions where rights of Kenyans and even the economy is being crippled so badly. Particularly, schools are not being attended, businesses will not open, and there will be no free movement of people.
Right.
And then you cannot use the ICC as a threat to stop the police. But when you go to the cost of living, allow me to address the cost of living. The cost of living did not rise after William Ruto was sworn in as the president. It was already worse during the reign of Uhuru Kenyatta. And therefore, if these Azimio are honest, then they should have led demonstrations against the government of Uhuru Kenyatta, if you are honest. And the facts that we are getting, in fact, from when you talk of subsidies, which Makali Mule has talked about, right now the 34 billion that was injected for food subsidy cannot be accounted for. And indeed, no food was seen in the shelf with reduced prices. At the exit of Uhuru Kenyatta, the price of unga was at 240, 250. And now it has dropped around 170, 180. And the market is stabilizing. So really, what you are telling us, you don't have facts on the absolute. So you are trying to divert attention. The accounting for 34 billion for the subsidies this one must be, the Azimio cannot escape. It must be audited. The 16 billion that was withdrawn within 26 minutes, this must be accounted for. The 6 billion of purchase of Telecom Kenya, there are many, many, many economic atrocities that were committed. And in fact, the sponsor of this demonstration is not even Raila Odinga himself. It is Uhuru Kenyatta. That is a naked fact. This is an economic war. This is business war. And the general call, and you see, it is it's interesting when you see unionists, Akelo Misori, Atwali, and the rest, and unionists, they've distanced themselves from this agenda of the cost of living. When you bring up demonstration that is going to disrupt workers from going to work to earn their living, you are not helping.
Thank you.
And therefore, the agenda they have is misplaced. And data that we have seen is that over 70% of Kenyans are against this demonstration. And I'm telling Azimio, can you smell the coffee early enough? And even the churches. The churches, nobody should now push for any form of dialogue because there was no crisis at all. Nobody should push. And I think it is that dialogue table that you're looking for.
So from your own estimation,
yes,
you're saying there should not be any dialogue.
You cannot blackmail a legitimate government in place that is trying to clear the mess that was created by another government to a political negotiating table. That is wrong. What we are seeing, the bad, is political blackmail. This is pure and poorly designed political blackmail against the government, and this should not work. And when you look at this cartoon, yes, I think you've removed it. That there will be no dialogue. There should be no dialogue. Let the church do its business. We respect their opinion. We respect the church. But from where my standpoint is that all this is not necessary. Can Azimio find another way of doing things? And they should not engage in
Thank you,
disrupting the lives of Kenyans.
So no, this is a line that has been drawn on the sand. No dialogue at all. No space for talks.
I hope the international community